welcome to today's episode of Group Therapy Podcast. Today we have model, actress, paranormal investigator, Spider Woman, Rachel Hoffman. Rachel, tell us about yourself.
So my name is Rachel E Hoffman. I had to write it down so I'd remember all this actually. So I'm a paranormal investigator and I also do some filming, some fringe and fetish filming. And I really did write a list. I'm not kidding. This is how well I know myself. The list goes on. I also do horror and film. So like some acting and stuff like that. It's kind of secondary. Some people know me now as an actress and they're like, so you're an actress. And I'm like, no, I'm a paranormal investigator. I just also. So my main title, I feel like, is paranormal, but many, many titles later. But I enjoy everything I do. So it's really all about kind of keeping myself entertained.
That's where I'm at right there. Somebody asked me to describe myself. I'm like, I am video game comic book store owner. I am a podcaster. I am a host, a horror host, a cartoon host. I I have invested in the paranormal, but I've kind of drifted away from that because I just don't have the time. And but no, I go full loop too, just like that. So I gotta ask you, what was the thing that got you into the paranormal?
Actually, what's funny is I had an imaginary friend and her name was Maybelle Deo. She was 3 years, 5 months, and 8 days old. And we found her tombstone about 20 feet from my bedroom window when a landline was being dug by my home. And my dad's like, how did you know her name was Maybelle? And I'm like, I played with her my whole life. And I feel like she stayed with me and she grew, like she matured. She's like an intelligent person. And so I found out there was this equipment that recorded and I was like, I think I'm going to go for it. And I did. And I recorded her in my home in Boston, like, 100 to 200 miles away from where I grew up. And she was still with me. So I was like, wouldn't it be cool if I could go and communicate with other ghosts also? And so here we are.
And you've been on the Travel Channel, right? I mean, you've been,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, Zac Bagens reached out to me. He was kind of coordinating his own spin-off of a show, and the Travel Channel gave him an opportunity, and he wanted to. I mean, it was well intended, don't get me wrong, to pit people against each other in the paranormal to see who came out with the best evidence. And so I was amongst the few female paranormal investigators with a group that had put together videos on YouTube. And so he had asked us, and I said no at first because I didn't want to go on a game show. I
Yeah.
didn't want to lose.
Yeah.
So but that's a whole nother story. But no, it was a great experience. It opened up a lot of doors for me and my crew at the time. We got to do asylums and all kinds of fun stuff after that. So that was really what it was really all about for me, was opening the doors. And it's kind of hard getting into places when you call historical locations. You're like, hey, so I'm a ghost hunter. They're like, click.
Yeah.
They don't want to hear it.
Well,
They
what's
don't want
funny
that.
is as another friend of mine who's a paranormal investigator, he got invited for the same thing. He turned it down though. He's like, maybe I shouldn't have, but he goes, he's like you. He's like, I don't think we need to be on a game show at this point. But he's like, maybe I should have done it. Just that I was like, you got to try, man. You gotta go for it.
Yeah.
It can be the one that
Well,
bumps you over. So
yeah, and I mean, as far as opportunity, the only thing is people in the paranormal, they're all the star of their own show. Everybody wants a television show in the paranormal. I mean, who doesn't want to get paid to do what they love?
yeah, oh,
It's
100%.
simple math, obviously. But what these people don't realize, I'm gonna roast the whole of them instead of just one or two. I won't pick one or two. They aren't made for TV. It's not about, watching people talk to dead people in the dark. It really has to be the right person that they're tuning into to get that personality going, because hours of watching someone in a black light or night vision camera it's boring.
Oh yeah.
Quite simply, I don't watch shows about the paranormal, and I'm a paranormal investigator. So I don't even watch my own show.
Well, that's not a very good commercial for yourself, but
I I like to go do things. Like I'm the doer, you know what I mean? And I
yeah.
spend a lot of time editing.
Oh yeah.
So inadvertently I watch the show by,
Well,
you
by
know,
default, you got to edit. Yeah. Well, it's funny because I don't know how many years ago it was. Now we decided like several summers in a row, we just went to all these places that were supposed to be haunted locally,
mhm.
and we did investigations, and we took people with us that probably shouldn't have been with us. People who were like, "Oh, I've got orbs." I'm like, just stop, please, just every time. And we had people who legitimately got angry if they didn't get footage. And me, I'm the skeptic. My wife is the non-skeptic. I'm the skeptic. So I'm the analyst. I'm the one of, looking at every little thing. And you're looking on, a camera and you got that little, maybe 2 inch by 3 inch
Yeah.
square thing. And so they're like, look what I got, look what I got. And then I go home and I hooked it up to my big TV and I'm like, oh, it's an owl. You know,
Oh, it's so funny when that happens. I freak myself out. I can't I've learned now to go to sleep, wake up the next day, separate myself from it for a little bit, and then watch my evidence because one time someone's head was turned and they were like, I called my friend at 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, we have a situation. We have a devil. We have a demon. We have a situation. It's coming through my television. Like, what's happening? And she was like, she reviewed it with me the next day. She was like, oh, that was me. I was like, "Oh my god." I woke up her mom, like, in the middle of the night. I was like, "Get up." And, so that is funny. It kind of you have to laugh at
oh,
those
yeah.
situations, you know?
Well, we had one and we had to go back twice because we got really weird footage the first night. And so we legitimately went back another night and tried to see if we could recreate the same footage. And we got weird stuff. And one of the things was you could see because we were filming where there was supposed to be a haunted covered bridge. Ironically enough, the covered bridge had burnt down, but supposedly that whole area was still haunted. So we're lit on this little bridge, under it, around it. So there's the we're in a we're I'm literally standing in a dried up riverbed and stuff filming. And my buddy's like, I caught footage of something. I caught footage of something. So I go in and I take it and I run it and I'm watching on the TV and I'm like, oh, there's something moving. And so I go and I go back and I take my camera and I turn up the contrast and all this stuff. And I'm like, oh, that's a deer. That is a deer.
Son of a bitch. He
but
was
the
he was interfering with you. No, I'm
Yep.
just kidding.
But the night before was when we got the crazy footage. The bridge burnt down, and we were walking down to where it was. Well, at one point when before it got burnt down, there was this big rock that they put, and they'd spray painted it with the reflective paint "Danger" across it. Well, when they built a new bridge, they just piled all that stuff to push it off into the river. Well, you walk down there, and this big rock just says "Dan" on it, where it used to say "Danger." And so I walked in and was like, hey, look, it's a Dan rock. And I walk off and my footage goes nuts. My footage goes crazy. It's staticky, everything. It starts getting all wavy and stuff. I hand it off to my wife. My wife starts looking at it. And when she runs it through the computer, it looks like fire, which is it burnt down. So I'm like,
Wow.
all right, okay, this is weird. You could hear everything, everybody talking perfectly fine. But the
Yeah.
digital footage just goes crazy. And then it
Yeah.
writes itself. And a few years back, I was at Pittsburgh Comic Con, and Steve Gonzalez was there from Ghost Hunters,
Yeah.
and he's like maybe like two booths down from my buddies that were comic book artists, and he's hanging out there, and I'm like, I'm just sitting there talking to him. We're just kind of because everybody's just kind of walking up and around, and he's like, "What did you get?" And I went, "Wait a minute." So I dig through my bag and I pull out the camera, and I'm like, "Here, watch this." And he just watches it, and he's like, we were on Ghost Hunters for 10 years and we never got anything this good. He goes, have you turned this in to anybody? It's like, no. He's like, why didn't you? I was like, because I can't prove that it's real and I can't prove it's not real.
Uh-huh.
And he's just like, well, you should show this to people. I'm like, yeah, I don't feel comfortable with that. And he just,
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. Like if I wish we could do blind evidence reviews where people could just be like, because I mean, the fact of the matter is the energy that we become after we pass away can interfere with, equipment. It's been doing it for a long time. That's why people tried to navigate the equipment towards it. Before that, I was speaking to ghosts through like willow trees, the microwave. Like, I mean, there's a lot of different ways, that I
Oh
had
yeah.
been communicating.
But yeah, when we did that, and we went to a couple other places, and then the one place that was supposed to be like massively haunted, we totally disproved everything. And we found where the electrical problems were. We
Oh
found that
boy.
like they're like, well, stuff moves, and I'm like, I take a level and I put a level on the floor, and you can see where
Mm,
the floor is like not level, and when you step in a certain point, the whole thing would move. And I'm like, yeah,
yep.
it's shifting and everything else like that. And we were never allowed back there again. And
The foundation was messed up.
oh yeah, it's just
That's funny, but people do freak themselves out. Like, I've had people, I did tours on the USS Salem, and I would give like half an hour slot tours,
mhm.
and people would come up there drink after drinking, and then they would demand to see a ghost. I'm like, do you see ghosts? Like, no, naturally? And they're like, no. And I'm like, what the freak makes you think you're going to come on a half an hour tour with me and see one? Like, I'm not here. So I made the newspaper that was advertising me selling the tickets to the ghost hunt saying ghosts not included. Like, it was basically like, I'm like, this isn't like BK have it your way and you're gonna like get the ghosts to come out and manifest. Like, this takes hours. Like, I've been the ghosts, even the Travel Channel, 14 hours a day to get the footage we got.
Mm.
It was draining, demanding. The television shows are oftentimes like Hollywood's, style, 14 hours a day, you're eating what they feed you. And so it's like, it's very demanding on your body. And then the hours are different.
Mhm.
So as a paranormal investigator, you're up until 4 o'clock in the morning. So, and honestly, they say you're going to be there till 2, but then they want to turn the camera on you and they want to get your immediate reaction to how things were going in that room before you forget, to get their face-to-face stuff, and then they want you back there at like 7 in the morning. And like and yeah, so it can be very demanding. We were on the Travel Channel in April, the Rolling Hills Asylum, on the coldest day of the year. And I'm telling you, I was dressed for television, so I wasn't warm at all. I was like being put to the mental test, basically. Like, it was like Paranormal Survivor, for God's sakes. Like, that's what it felt like.
Well, you can't cover up the attractive woman that's on the screen because that's how you get people in the seats. Because
It was funny because people gave Zach crap, and they were like, "Why did you put the girls in the Rolling Hills Asylum in the middle of the winter? Like, are you insane?" So he tried to actually have us back on. There was some kind of like a discrepancy with the teams and stuff like that, because in the end, I think that he liked us. He thought we were a good team. We were good natured. You know what I mean? We were a good
yeah,
natured bunch. And the guys were just a bunch of tool bags, and we should have won. And really, in everybody in America's hearts, we won. No, I'm just kidding though, but that was how it was. The guys were incredibly like rude and very trying on us, and saying some things that probably wouldn't fly today, 10 years later, but they were trying to be super competitive. And they when people have never been on television before, they really don't know what to say, and they're like, oh, maybe I should say this.
yeah.
And no script for them. They just kind of fly off at the handle. So they were given an opportunity to speak, and they really, made a name for themselves. So even
In the
though,
wrong way.
everything transpired like that, people really felt for us. And we were very humble, of course, when that happened. And basically that allowed people to be like, we love you, we're sorry. You know what I mean? And so we had a lot of support and love, and especially from other females in the paranormal. And we'd only been in the field for about a year at that time. So it was like, I thought everybody was like, loved us. I thought everything was great. It wasn't until things started coming out after a while that I realized that it was, more of a competition than it was a friendship out there. People just, how people in the paranormal are. They all want to be a star of their own show type of thing.
Mhm.
So it was crazy. And after Zach introduced that competition, and he had talked to me afterwards about potentially doing another one. people go crazy for it just to get on TV. And then they're like, this is my moment. You know what I mean? But again, it was a fun opportunity. A lot of teams went on there, and they got to showcase really cool stuff. And I watched and learned actually from everybody as they continued to go on. I learned from my own mistakes. I was, like I said, pretty new in the field. We were calling, you know, items thingies instead of, digital recorders, that we got roasted. Believe me, roasted. Yeah. So I mean, it was a good learning lesson as far as that goes. Definitely extremely humbling
Well,
to say the least.
because it is a competition, and I don't think, especially if you're doing it for a show that's a competition show, but there are so many people out there that are paranormal investigators into, even into cryptozoology and stuff like that. They are 100%, it's competition to them. That
Oh yeah.
and you're just like, dude, stuff happens to everybody. You know, it's like I was sitting there years ago. I was talking about running across, um, what I thought was a cryptid here in Ohio, and my one of my best buddies was like, "Where we're at," and I was like, over here, and he's like, "Oh yeah," he goes, "I think I seen that when I was a kid," and then this guy overheard us. He goes, "Oh yeah, yeah, well, and I'm like, it's not a competition, dude. We just ran across this thing. It's not like we're actually. I wasn't out hunting them. I just happened to see something out in the middle of nowhere. So I don't care."
Yeah. Yeah, I territorial is another word that I like to use. When I was working on the Fall River project, I was getting death threats. Yeah. So like people were like literally upset that I was in their territory hunting ghosts, to the point where it was like they were so intimidated by potentially having a docu series next to my docu series. Like, I have a different take, you would have a different take, we'd all
Yeah,
have a different, you
exactly.
you
Yeah,
just said you went somewhere that, or you went up to Gonzalez and he had never had an experience like that. Like, people have
yeah,
profound experiences.
yeah. It's
It just
it's.
depends on the person.
Oh yeah. Well, like I said, me and my wife wanted to do one because, like I said, we were the. I joked around that we were the Mulder and Scully, but reverse. I was the Scully, and she was the Mulder,
Hmm.
and we thought that would have been a great concept for an idea, and we had people, like, we pitched it to a few people, and people loved it, but ours, we both had day jobs and stuff like that, and scheduling was nearly impossible. And of course, like you said, nobody wants to let you into their place to in paranormal investigate if they don't know who you are. They want the guys from the show. That's who they want. They want
Yeah.
the show people. And you're like,
Yeah.
well, you got to get the nobodies to get the
Yeah.
somebodies, and
Exactly.
or they want to charge you an arm and a leg to come in and investigate. And I'm like, dude, I'm not paying you a ton of money to come in and show your building's empty. You know?
Yeah. I started doing a lot of like historical rehab and stuff like that. Both it gave me access to these locations. I got to feel good about doing something fun for and good and rebuilding a roof.
Yeah,
And I went across the East Coast and I rehabbed a bunch of places. That's why I gained access to all those places.
nice.
Right now we're working on footage, but I had gone like everywhere. Like, I don't think there's a spot you could mention. You know what I mean? Between
Oh,
here and the witch city that I haven't been.
so I got to ask you. So you're a model too. Do you do both at the same time? So you're like, well, I'm here. Might as well model while I'm here too. Get some photos taken.
Yeah, I get a lot of flack for the way I dress. In general, I don't always dress like Spidey.
Of course.
But I get a lot of flack in the paranormal for dressing up at all. That's one thing that people like really don't like about me. They're like, it's not about that, Rachel. But I people don't know my backstory either. I like tight clothing
Hmm.
because I my first job was a lifeguard. And I learned that it was, well, always for me about functionality, always
Hmm.
for me about not getting caught on things and being able to run to get to
Yeah.
help someone. And so I wear things that are functional for me. And so, and I never worry about what other people think. I don't have that, like, that thought process where I'm like, oh, I care so much. I never did. And I try to set the stage for other people, other women, other females, younger girls, the younger girls coming into the field, don't I wouldn't go around wearing a turtleneck no more than I would ask anybody in the paranormal to go grab a shirt and tie, which, we're all a bunch of black t-shirts here. It's facts.
Yep.
It's just who we are. But no, I get like I get a lot of crap for it. So in that though, I still do. I do steampunk photo shoots in the locations. I invite other people, and during the fundraisers, I ask other people to get dressed up and do sexy pictures with me, really get everybody really angry.
I think that that would be one of the problems is so many of these guys out there would get, I mean, they're jealous of other dudes. They're because they want to get that. But if an attractive woman who's attractively dressed comes in and pulls something out and they're like, oh, that's just because I'm like, that's not how paranormal works, man. But I guess it
Yeah.
is because if you're going after a creepy old guy in a building that there's like, well, there's this creepy old guy who always flirts with. You want a provocative woman to bring that guy out so you can get the
Yeah.
footage. So
Yeah, exactly. And I'm not afraid. And a lot of people don't like they assume, oh, that we got a lot of keyboard warriors out there all day. But then they meet me and they take 10 steps back. I'm like a head taller than most of these dudes. I'm a big girl. You know what I mean? Like I'm not some small little top. And I'm also wearing generally 3-inch heels on top of it. So I'm an intimidating girl when I walk in the room. And I fear nothing. And I do tons of events with like tons of people. So I'm not afraid to talk in front of a lot of people. I'm not afraid to tell somebody off in front of a ton of people. And so when push comes to shove and they actually do meet me, whether it's by accident on purpose, they generally tend to like take a step back. There's no more of this, no more of this.
yeah, their mouth is right and checks their ass can't cash. So
Exactly.
well, uh, for how tall are you? I mean, I've seen the pictures. You're a pretty tall woman there, but how tall are you?
I'm 5'8".
You're 5'8". Okay, and then in the heels, it
Yeah.
puts you just shy of 6 foot. So yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. So, and I wear some pretty funky heels. I mean, I can go, I said that a couple of the pictures that you see me in at the Exotica are 7-inch heels.
Now, have you ever? I got to ask, have you ever wore those the ballet heels,
Mhm.
the ones where you're on your toes?
Yeah,
I met Julie Strain. I don't know if you know who Julie Strain is. She was a
I'm not sure.
B movie actress. She was in a ton of movies, but she was a model. She was a penthouse pet back in the day. She's six. She was 6'1", and she has a book called her art book was 6'1" and Worth the Climb. And
Ooh,
I met her, and she
see.
comes out, and I was like 5'10" at the time. As
Mhm.
I've gotten older, I've shrunk, of course, because it sucks.
I think I
Um,
have two.
well, and my doctor's like, we can get you back on there and pull that so we can get your back realigned and stuff like that, and get your. I was like, dude, if you could get me back to like 5'11", that would be awesome because I was like 2 inches. I'm like 5'9" now. Um, but Julie was 6'1", and and the first time I met her, she was wearing those ballet style shoes. So she's like 7 foot tall at this point, and you're just like, wow.
Oh yeah.
And she was statuesque, and she was gorgeous,
Oh,
and
I love that. I love women, like if that's not obvious, but um different sized, especially like little super tiny. There's a little, you know what I mean? And I get to experience a lot of that when I do the fringe and fetish and the other side of the kind of exotica modeling and things like that. It's a lot of fun. Mingling is my favorite.
so how do you go from paranormal to like fetish exotica stuff? Which came
I
first?
Um, I didn't previously talk about this because it would have taken a lot of opportunities away from me, unfortunately, because we live in a really, really screwed up world. I was a dancer and I was a dancer for about 25 years, an exotic dancer.
Hmm.
And I also did feature entertainment and things like that. I like to really perform. I'm an entertainer, a performer, and I always have been. And I like to control my own money. And at the same time, 25 years ago, I helped to establish laws that now include provisions and things for dancers to this day,
Wow.
taxable and whatnot, so
Yeah.
that we have more opportunities. So it's a field of growth, but I started there. And funny enough, I wound up, getting my circle of friends who I've had for 25 years. I've delivered some of their children. I've doulaed their children, the local
Wow.
girls around this area. And it's funny because we're such a tight-knit group and we've all stuck together. It's not like any group of adults I've ever seen. They don't like if a dancer around here gets sick, there's so many people at the hospital. If somebody around here like passes away, we're all there. Like we're a unit, we're a family. So I started there. The paranormal fell into me, I guess, when Maybell joined my life
Yeah.
as a kid. But really, like I embarked on the opportunity to start a career at the age of 30. And I started with MMA. So I was doing some fighting. And then I was like, well, I could do this, or, I could do this. And I started getting television opportunities pretty, quickly. So I didn't want to get knocked in my face and then
Yeah.
the next week have a paranormal investigation and have people, take focus off the ghost and be like, what happened to her eye? So I had to make a decision. And I just do sparring and stuff like that on the side, to keep myself active at that point. But I didn't want to sustain an injury that would, take an opportunity. So I kind of took a couple loves of things that I do and made it into a way that I could build revenue off of it.
Wow.
And just, yeah. And also not just my own revenue to help others. And I'm, not like I'm the most charitable person in the world, but one of my favorite things to do is, and it's a greedy thing, to see a building stay alive. Like after, facing demolition or having a roof mishap, or some of the buildings in downtown Albany shot up, things like
Hmm.
that. So being able to rehab some of the issues and to bring life back to it, and also to use the elements that were used back then, not these new crappy things that they have all this siding and crap. I'm trying to bring back history and revisit the past. I think things were much, much better, much prettier back then.
Oh yeah. See, that's one thing that depresses me horribly about my little town I live in now. The movie theater that I joke around with, the movie theater that I grew up in, because I'm a massive movie nut. It's now like a Hallmark store. And I tried for so many years when I was like broke and had no money. I wanted to do was buy that building.
Yeah,
And
you love that building.
I wanted it to keep it. I wanted to keep it a theater so bad that it was like up until like Hallmark came in and basically offered way more money than we could ever afford for the building. It's like,
Darn you, Hallmark.
nah, I did. I love old theaters. I think there's something cool about them with you go in some of them, they got like the crushed velvet wallpaper and
So
the
beautiful.
oh yeah, they always have those like I know this is bad, but I had friends that worked there towards the end when we were still in high school, and I would go in to talk with them when they were cleaning and stuff, and they had like the like the women's restroom had like a lobby with like the big velvety couches and stuff like that. I'm
Yeah.
like, this is awesome. And then it's all gone now. It's now like a back
Yeah.
Hallmark store.
Oh, I used to. I'm huge with movies too, especially Marvel. Anything Stan Lee created, touched, franchised, anything. I'm big on. And but I used to live above a theater, and they used to give me the posters and all the Monsters Inc. stuff, and Spidey came out, and there was a bunch of really good ones. Like I miss the displays that they used to do, like the really fantastic ones. Like they're
Oh,
here and there every
yeah.
now and again, but not like they used to be.
Oh,
They used to be like, you'd be like, what are you doing with that afterwards? I dumpster dive for a few of them when I was a teen. I
so
wasn't
did I.
playing.
My one of my favorite things was Pulp Fiction came out and it was on DVD. This isn't at a theater, but I knew the people that worked at Record Town at the time, now FYE. They had this big Pulp Fiction stand up outside, and I was like, I'm gonna steal that. And they're like, ha ha ha, yeah, right. And I just walk over and I pick it up and I walk out with it. And he's just like, you
Nobody
stole
really
that.
owns it.
And I'm like, yeah. I was like, I stole it. To this day, I have no idea what I ever did with it because I kept it
Oh
for
man.
like a decade, but it was so big because it's all four of them. It's Sam Jackson, Bruce Willis, Uma Thurman, and uh, oh, John Travolta.
John Travolta. That was the
Yeah,
first one that I was gonna say, but it slipped my mind for some
yeah,
reason after you started naming the other one.
but
That
it
was
was
that
big.
was so cool.
But now I
Wouldn't that be cool if
got.
you got him to sign it?
Oh man, it was so cool. Right now, I'm going to go to Horror Hound in March for one thing and one thing only. They're having a Blair Witch reunion, and I have an original Blair Witch missing poster for when it came out in
Oh.
'99, and I want to get
Mhm.
that all signed so I can put it up. You don't get to see it here, but my area down here is full of, well, my junk, but I also have movie posters hanging up everywhere, and they're weird movies that no one's ever heard of. Like literally, like
Oh,
right here is Best Stalker 3, and over here is Sword of the Barbarians.
you're
Um,
hilarious.
yeah.
I was just telling my boyfriend about the cult classics. Like, I'm like, there's so few and far between now. You really don't see anything anymore.
Well,
Like, I would love to see some of your collection because
uh,
I'm looking for to go backwards now.
yeah. Look, I mean, look, I've even got like stuff like this. That is
Oh my
Deathstalker on
God.
CED. That is the. Oh, do you remember these? The cartridges? But
Yes.
yeah, I have those. I've
Oh
got.
my goodness.
I'm a physical media nut, so I have those. I have uh still have my VHS, most of my VHS collection, DVDs, Blu-rays, laser discs. I've even got some beta and some 8 millimeter because my goal is to make sure that this stuff does not disappear. And
No, I know. I went back when they started closing Blockbuster and it was like devastating, devastating. I was like, oh my God, the Blockbuster's just leaving us. But I dumpster dove back then too. I was like, I'm going through the dumpsters and seeing what I can get. And they had like it's really not as useful now, but they had the cases where they kept the movies, they kept them on
yep,
lock. You know what I mean? But you
yep,
could see them. They were just you had to go tell somebody to go get them.
yep.
So they were the slide things and then they locked. I used them for years for different things, but like they were useful for just that, the size wise.
Yep, yep,
But
yep.
I was back there getting all that stuff out, like anything that they had left over.
Well,
I was so sad when they went out of business.
me and my buddy, he calls me up one night and he's like, "Hey," they just got a thing. Blockbuster's getting rid of all their VHS tapes." And I'm like, he's like, "We got a van. We're loading it up." I'm like, "All right."
Get a van.
They were hitting every Blockbuster around that they could find, and they filled a storage unit full of VHS tapes.
Did
I
you
mean,
ever
not
do
a
anything?
small one either. It was a big storage unit full of nothing but VHS tapes.
Did you guys ever do anything with them?
I got some of them. They ended up setting up at a flea market for like a year, doing nothing but
Really?
VHS tape selling. Yeah, and
Oh man, that's awesome. Yes, I had planned to kind of redo an entire like 80s room. I have a DVD collection like you wouldn't believe. Like it is crazy big. Like it's a closet filled
oh, I have
because
um, there's shelves back here. There's tons of DVDs back here. I have them tubbed up because I have no room for them. My wife keeps telling me, she's like, you can put those in like a binder, right? And I'm like, nah, I'm good. I'll just put all the shelves. And then I got them separated because I have so many that they're not even stored here. Some of them are stored at my
yeah.
shop because I don't have room. My VHS collection is there. My Laserdisc collection is at my shop, and a chunk of my DVD collection is there
Mhm.
because I don't have room for it.
They do come in handy. I know people will say what they want to say. I'm like a post-apocalyptic type person. So when I had my bus, I had set the entire bus up to be able to just basically lay in bed and watch movies. Like that was my thing. So there was no way I could have had Netflix. I didn't even get a signal out where I was. So it was like, as my source of entertainment, and it was consistent, I would have always something playing in the background, like, Ghostbusters and all my favorites. And, there's those movies that you can watch back to back again and again, again and again. We have our list here.
Yep.
And I know myself, like I have like my bin that has, a little layer of dust on it. And then I have my bin that's like, I worry about my CDs. I'm like, please, please don't be scratched.
I I got a resurfacer so I can take all those little scratches out now.
Oh,
Um,
look, you're fancy.
yeah, well, I got a store that sells video games and DVDs and stuff like that, so I gotta have that because it's like
Yes, this
the
is
thing.
true. This is true. You got to keep
Um,
it alive.
my one buddy, because I collect vinyl too, and he's like, "So why do you collect records? Everything's streaming." I'm like, "Till it's not." And he's like,
Exactly.
"What?" I was like, "Yeah, it's all streaming until you go to watch something or go to listen to something and it's not there anymore." And he's like, "Ah." And then he's like, "Oh, it's not going to work." And then one day he calls me up and he goes, "Do you have this?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And I was like, he goes, "They took it off of Netflix. No, I can't find it, so I can't watch it." I'm like, I sell you a copy."
Yeah, didn't they take, I think what happened was they were doing those replays of The Godfather for a really long time. And those people that were into The Godfather, they were freaking out about The
Mhm,
Godfather. They took it off. You
mhm.
couldn't see it anymore. And like if you saw it, it was a special. And
Yeah,
I think once or twice they ran the whole thing one more time, but they made it inaccessible. And then The Godfather, like the pack, do you see it? You know
yeah,
what it is? Like the 10 pack
yep.
of The Godfather. I myself have it. I don't really watch it, but I was like, I might need this someday. You know what I mean? I might need to binge watch this.
Well,
So, but they're worth it.
oh yeah. When this is bad when the pandemic hit, I was bored because I couldn't. My shop was where they made me close my shop and stuff. So I basically sat around and watched movies and TV shows. Well, I burnt through so much stuff that was on Netflix and all that stuff. I'm like, you know what I really want to watch? So I'd go in there. It's like not streaming, not streaming, not streaming. So I'm like, all right. Oh, it's only in. You can only buy it on Blu-ray from England. So I had to buy me a multi-region Blu-ray player, and
Yeah.
then I was ordering these movies, and then they're like, "Go find that, go watch it somewhere." And they're like, "Well, you can't." I'm like, "That's right, because I can just go pull it off the shelf, put it in the DVD player, and I can watch it. You can't."
Yeah, you figured it out. That's perfect. That's totally perfect.
And
No,
then,
I'm the same way. I need my entertainment if everything goes south.
yep, that's why there's thousands upon thousands of movies. There's thousands upon thousands of music, records, CDs, whatever, comic books
Yeah.
everywhere,
I'm a
and
big book person and comic book person too. Those are two big things too.
I'm always reading something. Right now I'm reading, well, I read my weekly comics and then now I'm reading the Area X trilogy. So I'm reading the Annihilation books from the movie Annihilation. I'm reading the book that
Oh,
goes with that. So
nice.
and
Sometimes I like the books better than the movie.
well,
Sometimes I like the movie better than the books. Just depends.
that's like okay, one of my favorite books is and favorite movies is The Keep. Michael Mann made the movie. Paul Wilson, F. Paul Wilson did the book. Two vastly different things.
Mm,
The movie's nothing like the book, the books, but I love both of them. And
yeah.
people were like, "Oh," I was like, "Man," I was like, they're night and day, but they're based on the
Yeah.
same thing." I was like, "But man, I love them." I reread the Keep. I don't know, once every couple of years or something. I'll reread it again, and you know,
That's how I feel about Dexter, because Dexter, the book was, I mean, they had like a two-parter, but the book was good. But if the book, they could have had a series if
no,
it ended like the book. I'm not going to spoil it for
yeah,
anybody, but um, yeah, so it couldn't have continued the
no,
legacy of Dexter if they would have finished it out like that. So, but a lot of them, I'm like, some of these movies, they're hitting, they're doing
well,
a good job getting getting everything right.
yeah. It was like Dune. Holy crap! That first movie was like what 2.5 hours. Now the second movie's gonna be almost three, and that's just the first book. So it's like six
Hmm.
hours of nothing but one book. So
Imagine sitting through that. I don't know. I'm starting to get to the point with these, like, it's not, it has to have a point with these, with the extra long. I think the last long one that I sat in was Logan.
now Logan, oh my God, I could watch that movie over and over and
I
over
cried
again.
3 times.
I,
They're making
I,
another one. They're making another one though. I thought it was the last one. I freaked out. Like I was like,
yeah,
oh my
because
God,
they're
this is
doing,
awful.
well, it takes place before, so
Yeah.
it's because that's in the future, and this is now because they're doing Wolverine, Deadpool, that
Yeah.
drops May, so we're gonna have
Hmm.
that in just a handful of months. Um, no, that movie Logan. Oh man, me and my friends were talking about this the other day. I was like, I'm not a real emotional guy or anything like that, and everybody's like, oh, it's because you're hard. I'm like, no, it's because I just don't really. I was like, man, when that trailer kicked in with Johnny Cash is doing "Hurt" over that, and you watch that, you're just like, "Hey, I'm not crying,
I
I'm not
it
crying."
was I was so I cried 3 times. My son was embarrassed. I was like, but it was because it was, it was out of the realm.
Mhm,
It went independent. It took the route of independence, so it was able to be a little bit more kind of like rough around the
yep,
edges. I felt like it was like a combo of DC almost, like the gritty DC,
mhm,
like the paradox.
yeah,
But I prefer like a little bit edgier like that. I like pretty much every X-Men. You know what I mean? Like all the
yeah.
way through. But Professor X like hits a note, you know what I mean? Because that's a big deal for everybody. So I lost my mind.
Oh, when he's doing that, when he's laying in the bed and he looks up at
Mhm.
X-24, the Wolverine clone, and he's like, I don't deserve this.
Mhm.
After everything I've done, you're just like, man, and everybody loves the Joker movie and talks about how it was awesome. I'm like, the fact that Logan got overlooked is insane to
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
Because that's a far better. One of my buddies is like, "Well, it's because you're a Marvel nerd. You're gonna love your favorite movie is gonna be Infinity War." I'm like, no, my favorite
No.
Marvel movie of all time is Logan, and I was like,
Yeah.
it's so
Do
it's
you know that adamantium? I had no idea that it's a fake metal. They made it up.
yeah, yeah,
I had no idea. Here I was like, oh well, I'm like, look, no, it's not even real. I looked it up. I was like, wait a minute.
yep.
Be cool if it was.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's vibranium, adamantium. Yeah, it's a lot of that stuff. Yeah, I've been doing this a very very long time. Um, I've been a comic book fan probably. Star Wars made me a comic book fan because I was 3 years old when Star Wars came out. Just fuzz short as 3 years old. My grandparents took me to go see it. Like my mom took me to go see it. So I fell in love with Star Wars. So my grandparents started buying me the comic books when I was little because I could, I was one of them kids who could read relatively early. And so I just fell in love with it. I fell in love with the medium and it's been downhill since. I mean, I'll be 50 in June and I don't remember a time when comic books weren't in my life. And you go back and I don't know. It's so I don't know. Comic books, like I said, have always been my safe place, I guess. And
Mhm.
I don't know. I don't really know what it's like not to be in comic books. So, people talk about how bad. Oh, this movie's whatever. I'm like, dude, you guys are lucky. You get comic book
Mhm.
movies. You get good comic book movies. I grew up when we got the 1990s Captain America movie and Howard the Duck and Man
If I
Thing.
loved Howard the Duck, leave Howard
I
alone.
I do love Howard the Duck. I've seen Howard the Duck probably 20 times. And
Oh my God.
I got it on
You know,
Blu-ray.
I was like, oh my God, kids, I want you to see this. This was by the maker of Star Wars. And I fucking, oh, it's new. Sorry, F word.
No, you can
I
you can
put
drop F bombs. We're all good. There's no
I put it on for them and I forgot about the duck with the
the boobs.
boobs, the Playboy duck. And I'm like, and then I didn't realize that they were indicating
They were
they
together.
were
Yeah.
together. I was like, how did I miss this? And just see an adorable little booty duck. Like, I don't know. How did my parents let me watch that? Like, what the hell, Dad?
That's the worst one. We had that discussion the other day. We are talking about movies that we were way too young or inappropriate when we were hit a certain age. And I'm like, I was watching horribly inappropriate movies when I was underage, and now I look back, I was like, I would never let my kid watch that. That's
Never
horrible.
know. I screen movies and like all of my kids are old now, but they're adults now, but I used to screen the movies and I'm thinking to myself, oh, how come I don't remember it being this violent or this way? There was a couple times where I'm like, close your eyes, don't look, don't look. You know what I mean? They're like, why, why? Then they really want to know. So yeah, but Howard the Duck was very inappropriate.
Yeah, it was very, very mature and aimed towards, teenagers, kids. And
It really
but no,
was.
but the thing is, if you go back and you read the old comics that it was based on, those were not for kids.
No,
And
no.
but people went in thinking, oh, George Lucas presents Howard the Duck, it's got to be. And then you're watching, you're like, oh, okay. And they pull out the little duck condom one there. That's the one I was like,
Oh my God, that was so funny. And you don't realize it when you're young. You're like, it just goes straight over your
yep.
head. It probably would have went straight over my kid's head, except for there was a massive set of right in the beginning of the movie. I'm like, and
But
I have four of them, so four boys. So I'm like, shh, 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 shh. Everybody's eyes, like, who goes first? Who's innocent?
four boys. I got four boys. Um,
Oh, you do?
yep.
We have so much in common.
Yeah, I got a my oldest son's adopted, but he's going to be 32, 27, going to be 20, then 23 and then 13. So,
Oh my goodness.
yeah,
It's crazy. I'm so glad that's what life handed me. I was young when I became a mom. I was only 19. So now I'm 44 and they're old. So they're old with me, buying houses and doing, all the groany things that they do.
my
But leaves more time for us to
I'm
paranormal investigators.
oh my God, I'm super. Me and my 23-year-old son are like this. We're almost always together. He goes to the gym with me. We work out together. He works for me. He's so we're like always together. And then my
My
youngest,
18-year-old's like that with me.
yeah, it's so fun. I never. This is my best explanation. This is what I love telling people. My kids are the best thing I never knew I always wanted,
Hmm.
and I wouldn't give them up for the world. They're awesome. I mean, they drive
I
me
feel the
nuts
same
sometimes.
way. I'm glad I did it when I was young though. I'll be honest, I see people that are our age right now, they're starting out and I'm like,
No,
I'm glad I did it when I was young. I nap more than a newborn now. Yeah.
I that was me yesterday. I couldn't stay awake. I'm like sitting there and like watching TV. I'm talking to my youngest, and he's sitting over here, and I was like, I feel
Oh
like an
my
old man.
God.
I'm like,
I'm the same way. I am. I'm like, and then I wake up, I'm like, what time is this? Like 4. I'm like, is it the next day?
I did
That
that.
was like it was more than a nap. It was like asleep, asleep.
Oh, I did it last night.
But I love sleeping. I could wake up and then go right back to bed.
See, I hate it. I wish I could do without sleep. And because I could get more stuff done. Because I do so much stuff that I was like,
Really?
man, if I could get an extra 7 hours of stuff done, that'd be awesome. But my wife's like, you need to
Mhm.
sleep, or you'll do
Yeah,
stuff
my,
like
my
you did
boyfriend
yesterday.
is busy bee. He does like all these little things. He sleeps for like 14 minutes a night. He's he's good. So I'm like
Yeah.
sleeping every 5 seconds. But I like to feel refreshed as long as I have no responsibilities, nothing going on. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
Not as long
yeah.
as not sleeping during an interview.
No. So I did an episode and it was real bad because it was when I got COVID what last year and oh no year before last now. I don't remember filming the episode. I don't remember interviewing the guy. I don't remember anything because I was out of it. I was on medication and I was half out of it from that, but I did the entire episode and people were like I couldn't tell. I'm like I can. I have no clue what was going on the next because I was like I woke up the next day and I was like, did I do it? And I'm like, there it is. There's the footage. I'm like, oh, whoa, I filmed that. I was like,
When you're
oh,
sick, you think you forgot something, you panic.
oh yeah,
You probably were sleeping and you're panicking in your brain, like, shoot, I forgot the interview. And then you wake up and you're like, wait a minute, the interview's done. I wish that more of my life was like that. Did I do that laundry? Wait a minute, the laundry was done. That
see
would be nice.
that's me. I'm the laundry guy. We take
Are you?
care. Yeah, I because my the laundry room is like right like back there and over, so nobody has to come down in my area. I do all the laundry.
It's
Um,
your little man cave.
Yeah, well, that's why we bought this house because we bought this house because we knew my mother-in-law was going to need a place before too long because she was starting to get where she
Mm.
couldn't do things. So we moved her in. So she takes the middle floor. I take this floor, the bottom. Middle floor is my mother-in-law and my brother-in-law who has severe autism, and then the upstairs is my youngest son who has mild autism, and my wife has her room up there, and then we have our bedroom. And then she has her area so she can decorate it the way she wants it. I have this area so I can do what I want down here. And
Oh, that's nice.
yeah,
It's like being on vacation at home. It's
oh yeah,
nice. It's nice to have.
yep. And it keeps you from being on top of each other and like driving each other nuts. So, you
Oh
know,
yeah. Oh yeah. Especially if you're there too much or whatever. Especially, there's so much stuff going on with COVID and things shutting down. People get stuck together.
mhm.
It's nice to have a place to get away for a minute.
Well, it was bad when I had COVID. I just told everybody like, stay away. They would bring me food to the door, and I would go get it, and
Mhm.
then I would come back down here, and like the only time I'd go upstairs is use the restroom and take a shower, because everything else I can do down here. I got my
Yeah.
refrigerator and a microwave and everything over there. I don't
You
have to
could
worry
live
about.
down there.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
Mm.
that's perfect actually, because you could actually quarantine yourself if you don't want to share germs.
Nope, 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 nope. But it's fun. I like my area, and then nobody else has to deal with tons and tons of comic books sitting everywhere. But
I'm
no,
sure they
no.
don't mind. Comic
Oh,
books are so cool.
oh, my sons come down here and read them all the time. I'm like, go ever. I was like, just rebag it and board it and put it away when you're done. I was like, and if it's not bagged and boarded, make sure that I've processed it because I got to put it in my file because I have the app, the phone app,
Mhm.
so I can put it in there and make sure I don't have stuff I don't need and all that other dumbness. But
Do you do fully fledged like books and stuff like that, or do you do like old school comics? Like what is the inside the store like?
my in-store side of my store is I have a bunch of comics. I have my cheap dollar books, and then I have the higher price stuff separated. I do video games, I do movies, role playing, toys, some books, some CDs because I have a little area back there for that stuff. Magic the Gathering, stuff like that. But that's my little store, and then I have one side, and you walk through a doorway, and then there's storage, and then you go over, and there's a gaming area, so people can come in and game all the time. So that's
Oh,
how.
that's wicked. Do you keep a certain type of inventory there all the time?
I try to have plenty of Magic and plenty of video games, toys, whatever I can get. Christmas wiped me out, so I'm trying to restock.
Oh
So
yeah, I bet
like
it did.
Oh, the week after Christmas, I think I had one video game system left in the case because they got
Oh
cleaned out.
wow.
And now I have a friend of mine who does he buys up all the uh electronic recycling lots, and then he pulls all.
Oh.
And so whenever he gets consoles, he brings them to me, and then I go through and find parts for them. And then like now I went from having nothing to having a full display case again because I pieced together, cleaned up everything, checked everything, made sure everything worked right, and now I filled my display case back up. So that's what I do.
Oh, that's wicked. That is wicked. Is it like the games are like Atari and stuff, or is it like
Um,
Nintendo? What are the games?
I do have a few Atari, but it's like I just got some Nintendo, Super Nintendo, N64, GameCube, which GameCube's getting harder and harder to come by. Um, I just got a big lot of Wii games. I got a big lot of Xbox 360 games. They come in spurts. Like if you get a collection, you get like a big size collection.
All of them. Yeah.
If I
Yeah.
get like PS3, somebody will
Yeah.
come
When
with
people
PS3. Yep. So, but I
Yeah,
bring in
people will
whatever people.
purge for the next game system.
Yeah, and
They usually
that's the
get rid
worst
of them
part.
in bulk
That's the worst part about it is I don't even get to play any of the new video game systems myself. Everybody's like, "Oh, you play video games all the time." I was like, "No, I don't get to play hardly at all because I'm busy."
because they're in the box.
Do what?
Are they sealed in the
Oh,
box?
I still have brand new video games floating around here. Yeah, still setting brand new, still sealed in my own personal stuff. But my shop is almost all used. So yeah, so we try to
Oh my God.
yeah.
I'd be so tempted to open them.
Well, it is. Oh man, I got one a while back, and it was a game I really wanted to play, and it was an expensive game, and I'm just like, nope, nope, just let it sit over there. Don't mess with it. You're gonna play it for like 2 hours, and then you're gonna take the game, go from like a $150 game down to a $50 game because you decided to open it. So
I know. Sometimes they're worth it. Oh,
yeah, now I play a lot of older games because they're easy, and especially because I like to play like late at night, so I don't have to worry about
hmm.
load times or like
Yeah.
updates. So I can just go over there and
Yeah.
start playing, and like yeah, that's why I got
Hmm.
a. There's an arcade back there if you look close enough.
I
Uh,
can see it.
that's my X-Men cabinet. There's a Star Wars
I
cabinet
see
over
it.
there. Yeah,
Oh, is the cabinet the game?
yeah, that's the stand-up arcade cabinet. Like it's
Yeah,
a arcade one up. I
that's
have
wicked.
those. Then all my
I
dumb.
like the older X-Men sign. It's wicked.
Yeah, I got the just absolute dumbness that is this house, full of my full of man childness that I am. So
It's okay. That's the way you gotta be, Like there are people like us that like fun comics, stuff like that, and then there's other people that are manifesting evil. So we'll be the cool kids and we'll keep it super linear over here. I
oh
love
yeah.
it.
I had a friend of mine. He goes, "Oh, when are you gonna grow up?" I'm like, "Dude," I was like, I own my own house. I've been with the same woman for 30 years. I have four great kids. All my bills are paid. If I want to be immature about the dumb shit I collect, then I will have at it. I was like, I have
Yeah, I
five.
didn't know there was an option. Like if somebody asked me that, I'd be like, oh,
Why
I
would you?
don't ever want to grow up.
I
Why
have
would
no intention.
anybody?
Wow, I have no intention of ever growing up. I do the
Mm-mm.
adult stuff I need to do, and then I come down here and live in the 1980s. Uh,
It's perfect. It's perfect. It's like the quantum realm.
yep. Well, it's funny because we talked about the costumes earlier. I loved being able to. I have my full Spider-Man costume. I have Red Hood. I have a full set of Stormtrooper armor, and I have a Sith
Oh.
robe. And I love going out and doing things in them. And I haven't. I've only done a couple at cons, but I just love going like Halloween time, man. Kids love it.
Mhm.
I had so many little kids coming up to me and parents taking their picture because I'm taking my kid out trick or treating and I'm in a full Spider-Man costume. I can't see
Mhm.
anything because if you know what the Spider-Man mask is, it's got the little tiny holes.
Oh yeah.
You cannot
Yeah,
see out of.
I was Venom. I was Venom with the ridiculous tongue. Do you remember the Venom tongue?
Oh yeah,
Oh, the
but
eyes were through his mouth.
oh
So, and it was so funny because I couldn't tell when I got up to people. So I was walking up to people to purposely scare them with the tongue. So it was like this long. So, but also you're visually unable to see that point. So I was poking people in the side of the neck and stuff. And people were turning around and they were like horrified. It was a really good horrifying one. Like it was really good. His mouth is like super open and the tongue is like all the way out. It's one of my
that's
favorites.
cool. See, I
Hmm.
the mask I got is the pullover mask that you got to pull up. So I
Hmm.
got to literally like take my beard, like braid it, put it down inside there. I pull my hair back, what little hair I still have, pull it back in a ponytail, and then you get these. The holes are maybe about the size of a nickel. So you got like this much
Yeah.
incision.
Hmm.
Then you got those big things over there that give the like hexes, and I'm walking, and I'm there and there's nothing. You can't hide anything in that costume whatsoever.
Hmm.
But I'm walking and I'm like, they got like boat shoes, so they're the real thin shoes. I'm like holding onto my wife's shoulder so I don't lose and like get because if I got to pull
Hmm.
the mask off and I don't want to freak any little kids out and be like, Spider-Man. Um, I should have just went back to my Sith robes because I have that and but no, what do I
I
do?
have those too.
I do the my stormtrooper helmet. I have like no range of vision either, and I'm like, I gotta look cool because it's Halloween.
Hmm.
Duh.
Yeah. Yeah. I had some provisions too. My son was Obi-Wan and my sister was a stormtrooper. We had a whole gang of love going on.
That's
My
cool.
sister does, my sister Danielle does modeling with store. She's a nude model and she just does the Star Wars themes. I'll have to send you a link.
Cool. Yeah.
It's
See.
wicked. It's like very artsy, but the helmets are huge and the girls are really small. It's really funny.
Well, it's real bad because I had somebody ask me like, can we borrow some of your helmets so we can do a photo shoot? And I'm like, how about I should bring my helmets and we we did a really cool one. My wife does photography too, and we did one with a friend of ours, and I have like the Boba Fett hoodie. So she's sitting there like
Oh
cross-legged with
my
just the Boba Fett hoodie on that you can see. I mean, I think she's wearing like little tiny booty shorts or whatever, but she's also got the helmet and she's like leaning on the helmet like this. And people loved it. They're like, "Where'd you get all that stuff?" I'm like, "Dude, this is stuff I have in my house." So
Oh my
no
God, I
problem.
love it. I love it. Did she sing My Backpack's Got
My backpack's got
Jets?
jets.
Boba. The
I actually have a Boba Fett backpack that's an actual full backpack, but it's got the looks like the Boba Fett rocket launcher backpack.
I want you to think of me next time you wear it, and I want you to sing that song. That's the
Okay.
mantra.
Oh, I do it all the time. Anytime I put on a Boba Fett helmet, or my kid comes up and hands it to me because he's always like, "Daddy, wear this." Like my backpack's got jets. I'm Boba the Fett, bounty hunt for Jabba Hutt.
I love the delivery.
And he's just like, we went we took him out and I gave him the helmet. So he has the Boba Fett helmet on. I got a Boba Fett helmet on. I didn't have the full costume, so I just got a hoodie and the backpack on. He's walking around with a hoodie and a backpack on. So, but yeah, I love taking my
That's
kids.
adorable.
So,
Yeah, that's adorable, especially if the whole fam gets in on it, you know. Like I never got everybody to do the same thing. It was like everybody kind of did like their own thing, you know. Everybody
yep.
was interested in different stuff, like so, but I never really got the themed situation. I love these families that they do like the, you know, Adam's family and
Oh yeah.
the whole clan gets in on it. Like it's so it's adorable. I love that kind of thing. Um but dressing up, it's something that I think like I'll do forever. You know, I don't think that there's an age limit on it.
Nope. Nope. I me neither. I'm literally when I bought that Spider-Man costume, I contacted one of my cosplayer friends and I'm like, hey, I was like, this is what I just got. And she's like, that's awesome. I was like, I'm not too old or and she's like, no. And I was like, I'm always paranoid. I'm like, I'm too chubby for this. And then my wife looks at me and goes, you lost a shit ton of weight. You should go out there and dress like that now. I'm like, do you want people to see me? Like, ah. She's
She
like, "Yeah,
does. She's
huh?"
proud of you.
Yeah. I went from a couple years back, I was like almost 250, and now I'm like between 165, 170.
It's so crazy. I would have never guessed.
Yeah.
Like, you know, when you meet somebody and they're a different size,
Mhm.
like you can't, it's like so hard to imagine them
Yeah.
a different
It- it- it-
way. You know what I mean? You look great.
oh,
Like, I would never have guessed that you were bigger. Was it a health issue that you had or something?
no, I couldn't keep up with my youngest kid. I was out of shape, and he was, like I said, he's 13 now. He has autism, so when he would run, he'd take off running. He would do, and I couldn't keep up with him. And I was like, man, I was like, I can't keep doing this. And I went from working in a factory for years to just being my own boss, working the shop. So I was just sitting around a lot, not being active. And I go, I can't do this. I looked at myself one day, my face is all puffy and everything, and I'm like, my wife goes, hey, she goes, I'm getting a membership to the gym. You want to go? And I'm like, nah, I don't know. And then I went, I fell in love with it. And now I go to the gym. I try to go to the gym at least 3 days a week. I wish I could go more if I had more time,
Good.
but now I work out,
Yeah,
eat right.
that's me and Josh too. We're the same way.
Oh man.
Yeah, that's it's good, you know, stay on your A game if you can and you know, it feel good about yourself and do the
Yeah.
things you enjoy in life. Like, I mean, I'm nobody's counselor, but that's just it seems to be that the people that are the most sound mind are the people that express themselves and are happy with who they are. And that's
I
something I'm like on board with.
I had the realization relatively recently, and a friend of mine helped me with this, and I've always had depression and stuff like that since I was a little kid, and I realized it's like I'm always going to be broken. It's never going to be something that can be fixed, and I'm like I'm okay with not being okay, and when I realized that I'm okay with not being okay, it left so much stress off me. I feel better. I think I'm a better person. I'm like more outgoing now than I was like even just a few months ago. My whole outlook changed when I just suddenly had that realization that I'm fine the way I am. And
Yeah.
I was getting like, oh, I'm getting old, I'm getting gray, and my hair's getting thinner. And I'm like, dude. Then people look at me and they're like, how old are you? And I'm like, I'll be 50 in June. And they're like, you're how old? They're like, you do
Yeah,
not
you
look
look really
50.
young.
Yeah. I had people I went to school with. One of them got jealous. They're like, what the hell happened to you, Paul? I'm like, what? What do you mean? They're like, you stopped aging at a certain point. And I went, "Hey, okay. I was like, I'm gray as shit in the beard. He goes, dude, you have no, like, I have very little lines. He goes, I was like, yeah. I was like, but then it takes off the hat and you can see how thin the hair is. But He goes, "You're fit." I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Because I got tired of being out of shape." And he's like, "But you don't look 50." And I'm like, "Okay, thank you." Like,
Oh, it's nice too, like, to get the confirmation, especially from people that knew you when you were younger,
oh yeah,
and just saying like, that you're doing a good job now.
oh
They
yeah,
they should know.
yeah. They've
They're the
seen me since I
experts.
was
They knew you then.
a little chubby kid. Now I was a chubby adult.
Aw.
Now I'm a well. I went through the whole thing. I was chubby as a little kid. Then I got really skinny. When I graduated high school, I think I weighed like 130 pounds,
My
and
goodness.
I didn't weigh nothing. But I also like I was working like 50 hours a week when I graduated high school. So between school and regular
Yeah.
work, and then I got injured, started gaining weight, and then I could never lose it, and I just kind of stayed about the same weight, and then I stopped working a regular job, and then I started gaining weight because I was lazy about things, and then couldn't keep up with nobody, and I was like, man, I can't do this. And then I finally was like, I broke down, I lost weight, I eat right now, I don't eat garbage, and now I'm feeling pretty
That's
good.
really good. That's really motivating. I still eat a lot of junk.
Um,
I'm the
I
worst.
I I I I don't eat fast food. I will say my one big weakness is I absolutely love the chicken wraps at of all places Speedway, and I will eat
Yeah.
their Speedway chicken wraps is my like junk food for me, and
Speedway.
yeah,
That was my first job.
Speedway. I was
Oh
a
my God, how embarrassing. I probably fed you before. I probably fed you chicken wraps.
but
I
long
was
time.
your
Yeah,
counter girl.
yeah.
I
Traveling around. I've seen so
was
many
pumping your
people.
gas, giving you chicken wraps. No, I did. I worked well, like down south area.
Uh, man, we're at down south.
I was in Florida.
Never. I haven't been to Florida since I was a little kid, so it would have been Florida.
That's where the speedways are. Where are you?
We're in Ohio. We got speedways all over.
Really?
Yeah,
You
there's
run the Ohio Reformatory?
no. I was supposed to go and then something happened and I couldn't end up going. So no.
Really? I want to go.
Yeah, I want to go. I want to go bad. We keep
I
trying
said
to
it
get
like you have access.
well
I want to go.
well the nice part about it is I kind of do have access a little bit.
Hook me
Um
up.
a guy that an actor that I got for our Comic-Con our November show. Um, he was security there because he's a bodybuilder, he's a big guy, but he's also a professional wrestler and stuff. And he's like, "Oh yeah," he goes, I was security there," and I'm like, "So, could you?" Because he lives over in
Yeah.
Mansfield, yeah. So he did security at it there for a while. So yeah,
Yeah,
but
no, that's a really like on my bucket list spot.
well, you let us know and we'll get the group together and we'll all go there sometime. We'll go
That
there.
sounds like a plan to me.
Yeah,
I'm in,
and
100% in
heck yeah, and
for sure.
I have my own comic book convention coming up in June.
I'll have to
So
try to make it. Yeah,
yeah,
I will definitely look out for that. That's
and we
right
can
up
bring
my alley.
yeah, we can bring you in as a guest and the whole nine yards. So you can be
I would
because
love
you'll be
that.
like the paranormal investigator from the History Channel and model and all your movies and stuff.
I
So we
love
can
it. I could do a booth. I could do a local investigation. If I do wind up doing it, and everything works out, I can actually connect with the historical society locally and probably get a place, sell a couple tickets and donate to a local spot there.
yeah.
Get in good with them.
Oh yeah,
Get in good with the locals.
we have a our library is supposed to be haunted because it was a hotel at one time. Our big public library. Uh,
Mm.
look up Piqua, Ohio. It's Piqua, Ohio. Look up the hotel uh downtown. I can't. It was a Fort Plaza Hotel, and there's all kinds of stuff there. So, and I wish I could go do a paranormal investigation at the hotel I used to work at, which is like just a little shitty hotel. But I worked there. A guy got killed. And then after I stopped working there, like I think two or three more people died there. So it's got a history behind it. But now it's all boarded up and everything. They closed
Why
it
are people
down.
dying there? What happened?
One guy when I worked there, a guy was murdered. He was drug deal gone bad. He was beaten and they dragged him outside, left him for dead.
Just in the hotel?
Yeah, and
Like
then
just in the
and
hotel?
in their room. And I was working that night and didn't even know it happened till the next day. I'm literally asleep because I work third shift. My wife comes upstairs pounding on the door. She's, "Why didn't you tell me what happened?" I'm like, "Well, what happened?" And she's like, "Somebody was killed at your work." And I'm like, "What?" And I jump up thinking it's going to be one of my coworkers or something like that. And they're like, "Oh," and I'm like, "Oh, shit, okay." And they're like, I had to go deal with the police that day when I came to work and
Oh my
everything.
God.
Yeah, he was
That's creepy.
yeah, it was
I
weird.
thought you meant people that you like worked with were dropping dead. I'm like, oh my
No,
God, you better get out of there.
no place I ever worked at. A lot of people died, but no, this was people staying there got killed. One guy, like I said, got killed. I think there was a couple overdoses, which tends to happen in hotels for, unfortunately.
Yeah, I could see that being a thing. I was just like, maybe there's a carbon monoxide issue or something like that.
No,
Like that. I
no,
thought maybe the people that were working there, because
no.
sometimes they have like certain issues, but
Yeah, yeah,
oh
the,
gosh.
the hotel was not the best hotel, but I worked there forever. The original owners that had it, I loved. When the second owners bought it, I hated it.
Mm,
The first
that'll
owners,
happen.
they loved me. The second owners did not much care for me as a person, and like so all I did was butt heads with the woman that they brought in to be. They said that they would never tell me outright that she was my boss. I confronted them.
Mm,
I was like, "So is she my boss or not?" Well, and they never gave me a straight answer. I'm like, until you tell me she's my boss, I'm just going to do my regular job. And they would never
mm.
tell me that she was my boss to her face. They stood there with the three of us in a room and they would not tell me that she was my boss. And I looked
That's
at her and I said,
hilarious.
until they say otherwise, I will still continue to do my job the way I'm doing it now. And I walked away because I'd been there forever and she
Good.
knew. So, but
She
I,
was new.
yeah. Well, I think she was messing around with the owner. So, you know, shit happens. But,
That'll get you. That'll get you
uh,
in there.
oh, yeah. So, wow, we've been talking for damn an hour and 13 minutes. Shit. Uh, I'm gonna have to get you back
Yeah,
on
I know.
so we can talk like your movies and stuff. So I don't want to keep all your time here. Um, so
Yeah, for sure. For
so
sure. Yeah, let me know.
yeah, so I got to ask, do you have any upcoming projects coming up?
Of course, I run a blank. I have a couple movies coming up that I'm filming over the course of the year that I'm locking into, including Tornado. Very excited about that. Um, we are kind of putting some stuff together behind the scenes and formulating a plan to make sure that my character makes it into the next movie. So that should be a lot of fun. I'm really excited about some of the new stuff going on with Operation Geist. It's the kind of new formulated paranormal expeditions that I've been working on, and we are going around to different places. We're expanding the paranormal to UFOs and cryptozoology and all that other fun stuff. And so, and also still ghosts all the time. And joining events, joining other people's events, and I'm trying to support people in the paranormal and my friends this year. And I'll definitely be at your events
Cool.
and just kind of making my rounds and getting back out there a little bit, but definitely trying to. Sorry, can I start that again? I have ADHD
No,
really
you're all right.
bad.
I can edit this and change it.
And the worst. So no, I'm just kidding. Basically, I'm just trying to get back out there in the paranormal. And I went back out and started doing graveyard investigations again. I wanted to kind of get out of the limelight. I wanted to go backwards, like, through the quantum realm and enjoy the investigation and enjoy the ghosts again. So I started doing a lot of the filming in, more secluded places. So I got back out there and did it by myself, did a solo project for a little while, and then I wound up inviting some of my friends to join me again. So it's been amazing. And joining into different UFO shows. I have one TBA that is coming up. The show hasn't been named yet, but we'll be filming in Roswell. It'll
Oh,
be exciting.
nice.
So. I'll keep you all informed.
Yeah, yeah. Keep me in front, and we can bring you back, and we can talk more of that stuff too. Anytime you
Yeah,
want
definitely.
to talk, we will bring you on the show. We can talk because we
Yes.
talked about randomness comic books. We didn't even really touch some of the other stuff, and we could
I
talk
know. I
more
forgot I was on
paranormal.
the I forgot we were doing a podcast a couple times. I'm like,
See that
we're just
and,
geeking
and
out.
oh yeah, and I get a lot of praise for that because we just
Hmm.
it's all about not like the standard with I always ask questions, but they're like you're legit just having conversations with a friend, and I'm like that's what I like because we have never
Yeah.
officially met
Yeah.
before
It's
this
nice and
moment.
relaxed.
We did a little bit of talking online, and that's about it. But now we're like, oh, shit, you're a pretty cool person. Hell yeah, I
And we're
invite you, whatever.
besties.
Yeah, we're good friends
Thank you. You too, very much. Like we have a lot in common. It's
now. Heck yeah.
crazy.
And next
Yeah, but no,
time,
that's what I like. That's what I like about all this stuff is the connections.
oh yeah, and oh,
Sorry. Sorry if it was lagging. It was like the thing was skipping for a second.
yeah, it
I
was.
have a horrible problem interrupting people.
Oh, you're right.
So
And next time, if you wear that, I will wear Spider-Man. So
it's a deal. I'll do, let's see. I think if I was gonna surprise you and be a cyborg, but I just didn't have time to do like a faceplate makeup where I got on today because I was doing some historical research in Amsterdam all day.
oh,
So I was going to do a silver cyborg, but for two reasons, I didn't get to see my chest in it yet, and I didn't know if it was going to be, like at attention. So I have to test some things out first, and then I'll get back to you. But I have like the bands and everything. You're
nice.
like, who the hell? What is she wearing?
Oh hell no! My
It's
audience.
fun.
I did an interview with Cybertronic Spree, the Transformers rock band, in full costume. So they they're
Isn't that
awesome.
so fun?
It's so much
It
fun.
is so
Can't
fun.
finish it. And the funny part about it is you're like you're almost playing off because you got the corset like thing, the waist cincher and stuff like that. You're like pulling off like
Oh yeah.
the spider
I did
dominatrix.
this. I did this thing. Yeah, I did this thing. This is separately from the outfit, but I wound up kind of just getting a bunch of accessories because I wear so many of these bodysuits. So I have like a bunch of like the superhero belts, but doesn't this look like it went with the outfit?
Oh yeah,
I thought that was
because it's
really
got a
cool. I
webby
was
and
like,
stuff. Yeah, yeah.
it's my waist cincher.
There you go. There you go. And not gonna lie, it never hurts to have an attractive woman on a show because you get people to watch. So
Oh,
and
thank you. I appreciate that.
well, we talked about this earlier, and me and my wife talked about this because we were laughing about we used to go to strip clubs and stuff like that. And I was like, it's
Yeah.
weird going to strip clubs now because now you look at them, they're like younger than my kids. And I'm like, I feel like a creeper
Yeah,
walking
it can
in.
be creepy.
And then now,
Mhm.
because we had the discussion, I was like, man, I was like, I'd love to have a club with like all the women have to be 30 or older. And then I found out that
Mhm.
I guess there is one somewhere around here that is all the women are 30 and older. And I'm like, where?
They
Because I
stole your
will go
idea.
to that.
Yeah. Sue them.
So
Sue them
sue them.
now. No, I'm just kidding. So what happens with me is even when I entertain, 'cause I pretty much, I mean, I was in and out of it till like last year in the clubs because I wound up making more of an impact, really going to like places like Exotica and like kind of expanding my reach. But I'm very popular. Like
Oh,
I'm not gonna mince words at all. There's a 19-year-old born every day. Okay. So
yeah.
every day in the system, you're finding new things and different
Hmm.
things like that. I mop the floor with girls half my age. And I'll tell you, it's about presence, it's about performance. And back when I was younger, you had to have a license to dance. You didn't just walk in and just get to go boobs out all over the
Yeah.
place and shaking that booty. You had to go and take a class on how to talk to people. And you had to get a license and you had to pay for it. Like, so it was just a different world back then. And now there's no classes. They don't like girls are coming in, and the girls that are coming in from being cam girls. And the cam girls, when you get to see them and their personalities outside of the cam, it can be like very 1D.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Like because they're just not used to the interaction.
Yeah. See,
So the older girls have the experience.
well, I'm not gonna lie. It's as I get older, you know, that doesn't appeal to me. The, you
Hmm.
know, older women do because I'm an older man. That's, you know, whatever.
Hmm.
And I don't find, you know, I'm like, okay, I can find them pretty and whatever, but then I'm like, I feel weird and dirty if I find them attractive because, you know, like I said, they're there
Yeah.
with my kids. And a hot older woman and this is something to be, you know, looked at. You know, you look, you're to be held upon something, you know, pedestal, because everybody, you know, ages differently. Everybody, and when you
Yeah.
age gracefully and you take care of yourself and stuff like that, it's you know, you should be get, you know, yeah, look at it, yeah, you know, and it's so funny you talked about Exotica. I'm sitting there looking because it popped up in my on my Facebook the other day, and I'm like, Chicago's not that far away. I'm
Yeah,
like,
no. And most of my clients are women. I have these I do the tickle fetish. So most of my clients are women. Like I believe it or not, like at the Exotica show, I had like two guys. So all my clients are females because I do touch therapy in a way like that just is relaxing and the hair and stuff. And I have um electricity nails. So it conducts electricity from my body to yours. And I'm a very calm person and I have very good intentions. So people really enjoy and I've done it to pregnant women too. So a lot of women are my fans. I have a lot of females. And plus I like girls. So it works.
yeah.
It works for me.
So I gotta ask though, you're gonna have to send me a link because I gotta find out about the electrical nails. That sounds
Oh yeah,
crazy.
I think I have them. Hold on, don't move. I got them over here. I was using them on my friend last night.
Okay. Oh, okay. That's not. So those all like what are what's the electrical output like
The
on that?
electrics, so there's plates in here
Okay.
that usually are touching my skin,
Yeah.
and they conduct electricity through the tips. You can actually do the ones that are actually like, zzz, but I don't do that to people. That'd be scary. So, so yeah, I do this,
Okay. And
like
then
a lot of scalp stuff, and it feels really good. Like it's very pain relieving, and I have two of them, one for each hand.
we got to. Yeah.
So yeah, so when people walk by my booth, I'll be like, "You want me to tickle your wife?" And they do.
I'd
They
be
really
like,
do. And the wives are like, "I want. You're getting me this.
yeah.
You're getting me this. This is the one thing I want. You said I can get anything I want. This is what I want." And I do it for 3 minutes, but I usually give them like a couple more minutes. So
That's
it's
cool though.
yeah.
I've never even
I
seen
was really busy at Exotica, like really
that.
busy doing it.
That's crazy. So it's funny because like I said, I seen that and I'm like looking at it, I'm like, huh.
They
Maybe it's
were
a
they
road trip.
were how much were they, babe? They were like what, 240?
Yeah, I think they were $200.
So
Oh,
they're real leather, and
yeah.
like they have the plates. I highly suggest them. I said I should have said to the guy, you owe me a free something because I sent
Yeah.
so many people over there. I think I helped him sell like 15 of them.
Wow. That's
People
crazy.
were like, I want some. Like
So
it's a new, fetish.
yeah, everybody's got a thing. Uh
Hmm.
we always have that discussion at the shop because we're like sitting there because we always like we have I run the clientele gambit on people. And
Hmm.
you know, I've got people that are furries, and I'm like, I'll give them shit, but I'm like, it's all you, man. If everybody's consenting and everybody's whatever, then have at it. And I was like, there's always a fetish for like my one buddy. We always joke around with him because we always show the hot girls dressed up like Pennywise or the Harley. And I'm like sitting there, I was
Oh, I
like,
love that.
I was like, dude, I was like, Brent, I was like, if this ever happened to you, you'd be gone in a heartbeat. You'd be dragged into the sewer. Actually, you wouldn't be driving the sewer. You'd be diving into the sewer to go away with it.
Those are my favorites, though. Same thing with the stormtrooper helmets, with the girls with the little outfits on and stuff. That's too cute. Like you're combining two awesome things, like hot women and geeky things, and that's
There's
awesome.
there's two
I
that I
love the
don't
Pennywise
get,
ones,
but
especially when they
oh,
really take it seriously.
they're so much fun, and it's one of the ones where I think people limit themselves a bit, and they should be more open with themselves
Yeah.
personally. Because
Hmm.
if you're not open with yourself, then you're not open with your significant other or whoever you're with.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
you can't. I think everything should be fun. And so many people
Yeah.
it's almost like a chore to them. And I'm like, why? You're taking one of the best things
Hmm.
in the world ever and you're making it a chore. Knock it off. So,
Yeah. Yeah. I have this discussion with my boyfriend all the time. We enjoy being able to go to these extracurricular things like together. This is a together thing. And then there isn't cheating, obviously. Like we have a lot of fun.
yeah.
We go to look at women, we go to see women. Oh, when my battery's dying.
Okay. Yeah, we'll finish
But
up. We'll talk again some other time.
yeah,
But
definitely. No, I could
yep,
talk to you for hours.
yep.
So I'm gonna eat some dinner real quick and
And
stuff. But
me
it's
too.
it's been lovely.
Yeah. And real quick before your battery dies,
Mhm.
where can people find you online at if you want people to
So you can find me at rachelhoffman.com, and
Hoffman.com.
one more time. You can find me at rachelehoffman.com.
all right. Cool. And
Yeah, I have a link that'll link to other things, I think, at some point. Like it's just like
oh yeah. So yeah, I'll put all your links at the end of the episode, and if I get to this will probably drop tomorrow at noon.
Okay,
So
cool. Yeah.
yeah, I'll
I'll
watch it.
um I'll promote the shit out of it. I didn't know if we were going live or like this is my first time with you, so like I wasn't sure what was going on, but I'll promote the shit out of it for sure.
Yeah, heck yeah. And one other time we can go live sometime since we've got a good rapport and stuff and whatnot. We can do live sometime. So yeah. So you take
I
care.
won't drop any F-bombs.
Oh, I don't care. I legit have to physically think not to drop F bombs. My wife yells at me
Uh,
constantly. Like my son does, Dad, that's a bad word. I'm like, I know, bud. Sorry. It's me.
yeah, so I'll be more conscious live. I usually am,
No,
but
I don't
oops.
care. It's I don't care at all. I put this show is I talk. Matter of fact, I'm in negotiations to talk to not one but two dominatrixes to have them on the show. So
Yeah.
yeah, and
Yeah,
yeah,
that'll be awesome.
it's
Especially if they come dressed in full gear.
yeah, I'm hoping, but we'll see how it goes
Wicked.
when we get to it. So, because some of them just do not want. They're like, I got to put on all that to go on your show for an hour. I'm like, that'd be
No, but
awesome if
it's
you
fun.
would.
That's like the promotion end of things. Like, I mean, I think people like this kind of stuff. I think that people be like, oh, there's Rachel in a Spidey costume. It's something different.
There's definitely guys out there be like, okay.
I'll just wear this to them all
So you
every
have a
day.
good night and tell your boyfriend hello.
You too.
And I'm not being creepy. Uh,
Oh no, actually, come here, get over here. You guys have matching beards. Over
oh,
there.
sweet. Oh, hell yeah.
Hey.
Look at that. Ah,
How's it going, man? Nice to meet you.
good to meet you, man. Go.
Okay.
Yep. All right. Well, you have a good night.
Quitting.
And
All
I
right,
got,
Paul. I'll talk to you soon, and
yeah,
I'll look for that to drop, and then we'll chit chat online, and we'll do this again soon.
yeah, cool. Later.
All right, talk to you soon.